Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you joining us from all across the globe. My name is Nikhil Pathak, and I'm the Vice President of Center Marketing and Business Development Division at Schneider Electric. It is indeed a pleasure to host this discussion on a very important topic about sustainability and the ecosystem that makes the vision of sustainable world a reality. At Schneider Electric, sustainability is at the core of our purpose, culture, and business as we accelerate our contribution to a sustainable and inclusive world. Climate change has become the defining issue of our time. We are all experiencing devastating impact on account of climate change. It poses many risks to human beings and all other forms of life on Earth. This only tells us one thing: we need to accelerate our efforts to make this world more sustainable, and we need to act with sense of urgency. We don't have much time. With over half of the world's population living in cities and producing over 70% of carbon emissions, cities play a key role in combating climate change. Construction and the operation of buildings are responsible for 38% of global emissions. And there is an urgent need for solution to help accelerate the decarbonization of the urban built environment to limit the global temperature rise to below 1.5 degrees centigrade. The world's energy systems are going through rapid transitions triggered by a simultaneous shift in technological development and regulations. And these changes call upon us, companies, partners, and individuals to act today. To discuss with me more on this topic, I have an eminent set of panelists. Joining us from London, we have Stuart Wilson, IDC Research Director, Partnering Ecosystem. Stuart has covered global business to business and business to consumer channels for 20 plus years in a wide variety of research, editorial, and event-based roles. Stuart focuses on the evolution of go-to-market models and the wider impact on channel ecosystems, exploring how current and future trends will impact the vendor, distributor, and channel, as well as partner landscape. We also have with us today Dr. Ayyaj Tamboli, IAS, Chief Executive Officer, Nava Raipur Atal Nagar Vikas Pradhikaran, Government of Chhattisgarh. Dr. Ayyaj Tamboli is an MBBS and holds multiple positions in the government of Chhattisgarh. He is serving as Commissioner of Chhattisgarh Housing Board and holding two additional posts. One, Chief Executive Officer of Raipur Development Authority and Chief Executive Officer of Nava Raipur Atal Nagar Vikas Pradhikaran. Welcome, Stuart and Dr. Ayyaj. My first question is to you, Stuart. The energy use of corporations typically comprises about half of the carbon footprint. Therefore, lowering facilities' energy footprint can significantly reduce corporations' environmental impact. How are corporations, industries, and government coming together to enable a world which is more sustainable?
Thanks, Nikhil. I mean, that's a very important question to start with. In terms of my area of coverage, I'm really sort of focusing now on understanding how customers, partners, and vendors working together can sort of enable these new collaboration-focused ecosystems based on co-creation to drive next-generation services and solutions that meet changing customer needs. And part of these changing customer needs are increasingly related to sustainability. And it's something we've been working closely with Schneider Electric on in terms of the partnerships of the future. But just digging into the question that you posed in a little more detail, I think what's really important now is to think about the power of the link between sustainability objectives and business benefits, because these two areas are closely coupled. And it's by focusing on that alignment that there's this really compelling business logic for customers, partners, and vendors, such as Schneider Electric, to really bring about real change. Because what we've seen recently is that technology advances have opened up these new opportunities to add value to infrastructure and buildings by really embracing new digital capabilities. And what this means is that customer relationships can now be related to efficiency and to sustainability goals as well. And this is all about this focus on intelligent power infrastructure that can then move into areas such as IoT solutions. Because what we're seeing is more and more companies are increasingly looking to digitalize all aspects of their operation and then really focus on monitoring and managing them as well. And we see this as being really visible in areas such as outward facing digital apps and services, but it's now extending across the entire company to include buildings and facilities. These are being transformed. These are being digitally integrated as well within companies. And here at IDC, we're now sort of predicting that this year, 2022, 65% of global GDP will be digitalized. There's a huge opportunity in India to leapfrog, to gain competitive advantage and build future-proof infrastructure and buildings now. Because when you're talking to a digitally advanced company, they're asking for greener and more resilient power infrastructure. So take this opportunity to really help implement next generation intelligent approaches to power management and help deliver those efficiencies that modern businesses need. When you start to put all this together, you think about data and analytics coming together to enable that proactive maintenance and management, those new services that can help customers save energy and maintenance costs, can help them reduce their carbon emissions as well. And this is all about creating a win-win-win situation, a win for the customer, a win for the partners, a win for Schneider, and ultimately a win for the planet as well.
Thank you. Very important information. And thanks for highlighting. I was just noting down 2-3 points when we're talking about intelligent power infrastructure, 65% of global economy getting digitized, and more importantly, analytics services. And on top of all, you spoke about huge opportunities in India. And I want to pick that up. India is a fastest growing major economy in the world, right? Given the pace of economic growth and the rise in urban population, we have more infrastructure to support. There is a higher energy demand. And then there is always a critical challenge of making energy more efficient from source to distribution to consumption. The scale of transformation in India is stunning. And so our sustainability equation is even more challenging. In the pathway to net zero carbon emission by 2070, which India committed, we will not only look at greener energy resources like solar and wind energy, but need increasing focus on efficient infrastructure. And this is something in line with what your research tells, right? A lot of this will be channelized through the smart cities infrastructure, which will lay the foundation of how we react to the need for sustainability at the grassroots level. A classical example of how this is happening on ground is the implementation of these technologies at our smart cities. Naya Raipur, Atal Nagar being the first smart city project of India. On this subject, my next question is to you, Dr. Ayyaj Tamboli. You have been at the center of this development of Naya Raipur, Atal Nagar. Urbanization is centrally linked to the issue of carbon emissions and climate change. Creating a sustainable city needs equity and thought about future generations. What are your views adopting integrated urban frameworks, which should hugely contribute to our sustainability goals?
First of all, global targets. First of all, we should put ourselves local targets. These local targets will be part of the the global outlook that we are trying to achieve. So for any city, planning part is very essential. For that, first of all, we need to focus on our transport system, emissions, then energy consumption, even at the household level, consumption of water, electricity, the light hours that we are available, like sun hours. So that has to be planned for that city. And then what kind of options that we have, a proper product mix. So that starts from planning itself. And particularly for Nava Raipur, to achieve those global targets, it has broken down into the planning of the city itself. Like the city is located, it's located in such a way that it's tilted 19 degrees towards northeast, so that the roads, the concrete surfaces will get heated less. So less emissions, and we are trying to use maximum shades on the roads by putting city in such a way that the aerodynamics will be in a proper way. So the aerodynamic study was done before the planning of the city itself. Second thing, planning was done on the TOD basis. So maximum density near the transport hubs and the low density away from the transportation zones. So like it's a completely TOD based planning. And then the important part is management of all the resources at one integrated command center. So like implementation of supervisory control data management at one center, where you can control the your water flows to the city, you can control the dimming of the lights, substitution of all the previous modes through LEDs. So like it's the, even if we look at the global targets, we need to localize them, and we need to put the targets for the city. We need to decentralize it to the sector level. We need to decentralize it to the society level, one particular building level, and then we need to focus on the household level. So the integrated planning is important to go for the local solutions and put it in a proper perspective. So for the planning part, we have kept more than 24% of green areas. So we have a good amount of forest, jungle safari areas. We have 7% of water bodies. Out of the total landscape, we have 7% water bodies. So roughly 30% area of the city is open and forested. And the other roads and everything is apart from this. Residential area is restricted to only 28% of the entire city. Then we have focused more on the institutions, then non-polluting industries. So the industries which consume more energy, we are focusing on industries which are consuming less energies, more based on the service sector, packaging sector. So we are looking at the product mix, whereby we are reducing the consumption of energy, and we are trying for alternative solutions also.
Thank you for sharing such interesting insight into the subject. Thank you, Dr. Tamboli. When you look at the big picture, the future lies in making energy resources more green, B, making our infrastructure more efficient, and C, create end-to-end ecosystem for enterprise which is more sustainable, which is not only looking at our own energy users as an enterprise, but creating more inclusive partnership across entire value chain, including our supplier to our partners and end customers and larger community, to make our ecosystem more sustainable. First, electricity is the most greener form of energy when you compare with fossil fuels like coal and oil. Electricity is the only way to decarbonize energy. So be prepared for a world that will be much more electric. That's the future. Electric creates a future which is much better than the one we have today. And that future will be green. The energy use of corporations typically comprises about half of their carbon footprint. Therefore, lowering facilities energy can significantly reduce corporations' environmental impact, in addition to lower energy bills. The next important thing involves future-ready buildings and industry and how they interact with our environment. So digitization and decarbonization have become mega trends that force us to reconsider how everything is made and run. Digital transformation involving IoT, AI, machine learning, and more are real enabler, making buildings and industry smarter and more energy efficient. And then we talk about large energy consumers. So these large energy consumers will have choice of managing their energy from distributed energy resources. Prosumers who are not just consuming energy, like many of us, it could be, but they are not only consuming energy, but also producing energy, are also going to contribute to the new energy landscape. So at Schneider Electric, we collaborate and partner with our customers to help them achieve their sustainability and digital transformation goals. For many of them, sustainability is a part of their core strategy. So back to you, Stuart. I spoke about decarbonization and digitization megatrends. You bring in the global perspective on how these trends are shaping globally. Give us some insights on what you are seeing at a global level in terms of the digitization of the energy landscape and what this means in terms of innovative approaches to drive resiliency in our infrastructure.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that these trends are increasingly global. And what we're seeing really is digital power management is providing this opportunity for partners to take on a greater role, to be informed, to be in control, and really adding value for customers throughout the life cycle, providing these continuous services to customers. And I think what I've seen working with Schneider Electric around the world is we're beginning to understand this vital role that the ecosystem of partners play in bringing this vision to life. The digitalization of Schneider's portfolio is enabling the partner ecosystem, the building systems integrators, the specifiers, the panel builders, the IT channel partners, working together to meet those changing customer needs based on new technologies. And key to this is that common underlying platform, that interoperability, the software integrations. All of this is opening up new opportunities to develop and deploy services, to work together. Partners working together is an important part of this, to really create and provide resiliency in the critical infrastructure. We're in a situation now where 3/4 of customers actually want to work with partners that can provide remote diagnostics and predictive monitoring and notification. This was from a survey we did in Europe, but we're seeing this trend happening around the world. When we're talking to our partner team in North America, in APAC, they're seeing similar things happening as well. And that takes me back to what I said about these trends are global, because the technology is there now. You know, Schneider's commitment to simplified, open, digital is enabling this. At a global level, we're seeing a growing focus on sustainability. We now have global corporations, and they are spreading this message around the world as they look to meet their corporate sustainability goals across their entire operation in all of the countries where they're operating. So, you know, they're not just following the local regulations, they're actually following their own internal regulations, their own internal sustainability targets as well. And we're also reaching a stage in some regions where the majority of customers are actually incorporating sustainability metrics into their RFPs. So to actually work with a customer, you have to be able to show your sustainability as a partner, show the sustainability of the technologies and solutions you're looking to implement as well. I was looking into what the local IDC team in India were seeing in relation to this as well. And by 2024, they're saying that 40% of Indian digital infrastructure RFPs will require vendors to prove their progress on ESG and sustainability initiatives. So it's happening, it's real, it's happening on the ground already in India. And increasingly, the CIOs in large customers will rely on their vendors to help them meet their ESG goals. They will also rely on the partners that can provide these solutions and the related services. Because when you start thinking about smart power infrastructure, you're really talking about solutions that are combining hardware, software, financing, IoT, analytics, services. This all needs to be wrapped up into a solution for the customer. And there's a huge opportunity for the Schneider partner ecosystem working together, taking full advantage of the interoperability, that common underlying platform, to actually develop these solutions and take them out to customers as well. You know, new partnerships are being forged to really enable a more sustainable future. And Schneider's building this powerful ecosystem of customers and partners to enable that. The opportunity is huge to take advantage of what simplified, open, and digital technologies can offer customers in India to help them meet their sustainability goals, but also to deliver real, tangible business benefits to them as well.
Very interesting information and exciting for India. And yeah, I mean, when you have a global perspective, you also talk about India. That's so heartening to see. More and more corporations are focusing more and more on sustainability. And not only just because there's a government regulation, but that's part of their own goal, corporation's goal, right? And then, of course, one key thing is about digitization, adoption of digital technologies, which are certainly at the core, once again, if you want to really drive this transformation. So very, very good. And thank you for providing this perspective. We talk about our partner ecosystem. So we at Schneider Electric are at the forefront of driving this change at a grassroots level with the help of our partner ecosystem as well. I would like to share with you and the audience some very prominent example of how we have been at the helm of driving sustainability in now just our own premises, but also in partnership with government bodies, right? And municipality, of course. So let me talk about Intense City. It is a world-class Schneider Electric office in France, in Grenoble. We know that changing the trajectory of climate change starts with today's buildings. They must become more digital, more electric, and powered by renewable energy, with end-to-end solution with all life cycle stages. So at Schneider Electric, we pledge to become net carbon zero by 2030. In Grenoble, France, Intense City, that's our newest office building of the future. So we call it a building of the future, is a great example of this vision. We consolidated 13 sites into 4 to reduce our energy footprint. We create a smart building that support innovation and prioritize the well-being of over 5,000 Schneider Electric employees. With 4,000 square meter of photovoltaic panels, we have 2 wind turbines on site, energy storage on site. This intensity actually generates 970 megawatt of energy per year and uses 10 times less energy than average European buildings. And then through a unique microgrid partnership, this energy is also shared with neighboring buildings and the city of Grenoble. So what's at work at the core of this architecture is Schneider's IoT-enabled Ecostruxure solution. It provides an end-to-end digital architecture that captures around 60,000 data points every 10 minutes. And then sensors, they will act automatically, reduce energy usage in unoccupied spaces and much more. So this allows this intensity of our office to learn and adapt to its environments, enabling autonomous and proactive operation and maintenance. And of course, the increased efficiency. So if we talk about LEED score, we have a LEED score of 103 out of 110 points. And it makes it the most energy efficient building in the world. With innovation at its core, this office intensity represents our vision of what we call all electric and all digital world. And that's going to be the future. One more example, as I talked about the collaboration with government bodies and municipality. So there is Montgomery County, Maryland, US. It's originating in the Midwest, the fast moving complex line of tornadoes and lightning, wind and rain. It proved to be one of the most devastating storms in US history, leaving 22 people dead and millions without power. So over 250,000 Montgomery County residents and 71 county facilities were without power for multiple days. The storm was reason enough for the county to seek the resilience of microgrids, right? And we are talking about resiliency. But then there was another pressing need that framed the county's interest in microgrids. The electrical infrastructure within the county buildings, low and medium voltage gear, was beginning to show its age. It's a very old installation. The buildings are between 30 to 50 years old on an average. Government administrators needed to find a way to pay for expensive upgrades. So the goal was therefore for them to bring reliable electricity to electrical or rather critical buildings, upgrade an aging electric infrastructure, and work towards sustainability goals. And that's where we stepped in. With our partner, Duke Energy Renewables, we offered a plan that would allow the county to install 2 advanced microgrids and upgrade aging electric infrastructure, all without any upfront investment. And I think this is most important. In addition, the private partners would maintain and operate the microgrids for the life of the contract. And this was done using what's known as energy as a service, right? So business model, and then that there was an energy as a service agreement. And the county signed a 25-year EAS agreement, a form of a long-term contract with Schneider Electric and Duke Energy Renewables. So the benefit to Montgomery County, they're set out to resolve its problems involving energy resilience and an aging electric infrastructure. But what the forward-thinking county achieved has implications far beyond its own borders. It has offered up a model that could bring microgrid benefits to many other communities nationwide and across the globe possibility, right? So that's one. In India, we also work with government. So one more example, working and running a seamless e-governance platform was for the citizen of Uttarakhand. The state required to optimize and expand its critical data center infrastructure to support the plans and fulfill the IT requirements. Uttarakhand State Data Center chose to deploy the Ecostruxure IT solution by Schneider Electric, and I mentioned about Ecostruxure, and this witnessed a data center of uptime of 99.99%, thereby ensuring a resilient e-governance. So this is cybersecurity is most important when we talk about IT. So through the capabilities of cybersecurity Ecostruxure architecture and service, Schneider Electric and our certified eco expert partner delivers an end-to-end solutions that support every stage of project of our customer, from design and build to operation and maintenance. So clearly the way forward is for the entire ecosystem to come together to make sustainable ways of living a reality. So just example, because what we talk is also reality, and I just wanted to highlight that. On the same topic, my next question is to you, Dr. Ayyaj. Creating a sustainable city is not just a technical or scientific exercise. This process involves everyone living in the city. Mobilization of alliances, government partners, organizations, and individuals define how the city respond to the sustainability roadmap, which has been charted out for them. The ethics of a truly sustainable city needs a more expanded temporal vision. Can you cite some example of how you are making it possible in Naya Raipur by leveraging partnership at all levels?
We have green spaces, open spaces. We are promoting transit-oriented development. We have connected BRTS system with bus rapid transit system. We have created walkways. We have created non-motorized transport like cycling tracks. We have put up cycling stations. The cycles can be operated through mobile app. You can put up a request. You can just go and charge your through Valet system, and you can take the bike from there. You can take cycles from there, and you can roam around in the city. We have put up charging stations for the electric vehicles. Now we are in process of procuring electric autos for commuting for the shorter distance. So we are trying on reducing the emissions through more use of electric vehicles. We are promoting electric vehicles. We are promoting non-motorized transport, particularly cycles. We are encouraging walkways. We have kept a visibility corridor on both sides of the city, from where you can just the Mantralaya or the administrative building or the capital headquarters is the most important location. So we have kept a visibility corridor around 30-meter wide corridor just for walking from your home to Mantralaya. So the visibility corridor is there. We have put up underground utility services so that we can reduce the overall water usage. We have put up the storm water drainage system. We want to put more water in under the ground. And then right now we are focusing on creating bioswales. So there are 4 water streams. We are widening those streams. We are putting more lakes in the city. 15 lakes are under construction. There are 2 huge water bodies in the city right now. So we are just expanding and we are ensuring that there will be more groundwater available for the city for the future, and surface water as well. Right now we are getting maximum supply of surface water, and we are controlling this at the integrated command center. So like if it should not like there is a spillover happening at one particular location, if there is damaged pipeline at some location, leakages are there, we can identify it through our system. Then integrated traffic management through surveillance cameras. These surveillance cameras are helping us in security management as well. So like those which are choking points where the traffic stands for more minutes or for more seconds, we are focusing on removing these hurdles and making it seamless traffic movement and reducing the emission at the signal points also. So we are working on that. We are working on solid waste management part. And then ITS enabled traffic monitoring, I've already told. SCADA enabled 24/7 water supply and power supply. So with this, we have aligned our policies. We are trying to understand the market demand, as well as we are a bit flexible on our policy and planning aspect as well. But we are not flexible on land use changes. So like 30% will always remain forested and green cover for the city, and that will be a big shock absorber for our carbon emissions, and that will bring us to net zero emission city, and that is our target for Nagar. There are 3 things. Like one is being a government organization, we can't do it alone. It is the citizenry that we need to take on board. So it starts from the house, like segregation of solid waste, putting like using maximum daylight. That thing, the involvement of citizenry is required. So we go like in this, we are part of Smart City Mission, and we do citizen surveys. We try to do events through which we want to them on the board for these kind of things. So we promote, we keep cycling days, we keep non-vehicle days. Then for industry purpose, we promote more of using public transport rather than going for the individual vehicles. So like wherever we get demand from the industry, we change the routes of the buses. We focus on giving more number of sorties to that particular location, using our own bus network optimally. So point is, like it's a mutual partnership with the industry, with citizenry, to get them on board to achieve the goals of the city. And second important aspect is we need to monitor the levels of the emission that we are having. So we are putting displays, we are making them aware that these are the levels, these are the levels. We are just this needs strong data collection. The strong data collection will definitely happen through apps. So we are focusing on like strong data collection, data management, data analysis, and this happens at Integrated Command Control Center. We have private partners, consultants who are working with us. Like we have PwC working with us. We have KPMG working with us on these aspects. So we are getting good consultants. We are working on that. And then we are trying to ensure that that environmental sensitivity should transfer into our own citizenry, and with that we can have a better future and better city. It's all about the assessment. It's all about the assessment of the energy consumption and our dependency. We need to reduce that. So we are focusing on like using our own buildings to put the solar panels, diversifying our energy sources. So like we are using solar grids. We are putting whatever we are the energy points that we are getting, we are putting it to the grid, so that if we have surplus energy production, we can give it to grid, and whenever we are in deficit, we can take it from grid. So it's like a hybrid solution, but that will definitely reduce our dependency on the energy consumption from the conventional sources. Smart city mission, right now we are focusing on 4 major projects. One is biosphere. As I already told you, it's almost 32 kilometer long stream. That there are 4 streams we are working on. That we have already created 6 major lakes, and we are focusing on creating 15 more. So one is conserving water. Second is we have given more than 875 hectare land to the forest department to do the forestation, and the entire road stretch. It's a city across 230 square kilometers, and the core area is in 80 square kilometers. So this area we have given all the roads for roadside plantation to ensure it's more covered surfaces, more carbon absorption. So that is second major project we are working on. Third major project we are working on non-motorized transport. So we are creating cycle tracks separately, cycle stations, and electric charging stations. So non-motorized tracks we are creating. That is third major project. And fourth major project, we are putting more emphasis on TOD-based development. So we are ensuring that FARs will be distributed in such a way that the high rises, more dense population will come near the transit node, and low rises and low density population will be low density will be away from the transit node. So it's a nodal hub that we are trying to develop, and want to keep more spaces open. So with these 4 major projects, next 5 years down the line, these projects will be completely implemented. So in terms of water resources, it will be a very rich city. In terms of green cover, it will be like a very dense cover. And then by terms of distribution of the population, it will be easier to cater the giving civic services, managing solid waste in these certain pockets. So we are focusing on that also. So with these initiatives, we used to say when we started 10 years back, 15 years back, this is the city of future. But like this city will be consistent with the city of 21st century and the need. And then we will transfer whatever assets we are creating to the next generation, so that they will have a healthy atmosphere and a very good environment, net zero city for the future.
Well said, Dr. Ayyaj. What you have cited is in classic terms, if I have to put it, the realization of the vision with the help of the ecosystem coming together and acting as one. So what's evident is that the connected architecture, connected solutions, and partnerships enable the vision of a sustainable future. And I want to talk a bit on distribution system operator, what we call electrical distribution utility, DSO, distribution system operator, and its consumers. They can take full advantage of this sustainable world from a greener energy aspect. The new electric world should become a reality. By this, we mean that all of the new generation resources and electrified loads must be digitized, connected, and intelligently managed at the local level and at the distribution grid level also. So we defined at Schneider Electric this vision as Electric City 4.0. At the consumer level, buildings need to get smarter. They need to help facility management teams achieve greater building performance with optimizing cost and meeting sustainability goals. They also need to help optimize on-site renewable generation, or even a complete microgrid communicating with the DSO to take advantage of smart grid programs. Fortunately, digital tools are available today to support these initiatives, connecting power, building, and microgrid management. Smart building technology should be part of every new building specification and can be affordably retrofitted to all existing buildings. The smart distribution grid must be more systematic at the DSO level with everything interconnected and centrally managed. The smart grid also needs to adapt to the increasing demand described above quickly, right? So the response time has to be very quickly with the dynamics of the load as it changes. We are at Schneider Electric, our partnership offers the most effective way to scale smart software-enabled bidirectional grid that support the required capacity and resilience. And I'd like to go to what you mentioned, Stuart, earlier, is software-driven approach. And I think that's where the data gets aggregated and then it provides us an actionable insight. But yeah, that's the top layer of software, which is helping us, right, to kind of really digest the data and coming and telling us what to be done next. Same time, automating almost everything. So the green innovation now is to support an increasingly decentralized grid. We require a digital transformation with inherent complexity. And then we don't do it alone. We have to work with our partners, and this is why we have developed this Partnership of the Future program, and that's a big enabler for all of us. Together we walk a mile further and many more miles towards sustainability goals. So, and then it's about helping our partners with strategies, solutions, and services they need to succeed. I talked about software. So our software suites from Aveva, RIB, ETAP help create operational efficiencies right from the design, build, and maintain phase for the lifecycle management of industries and buildings. So as a summary, three things: invest in decarbonization technologies and bundle for impact. Invest in digital and invest in city ecosystem services. So all of that, we cannot do as a company alone. We have to work with all our partners and alliances, but we need to come together with government and communities to make a sustainable living and to make this world more sustainable to live. So with that, I would say we come to the end, but I just wanted to say huge thank you to Stuart and Dr. Ayyaj. Very, very valuable inputs. And yes, it's very interesting to know what's happened globally. Very interesting to know how we can make it happen in India also. And yes, we will leverage this knowledge gain for all the viewers who are watching us. And then we are here to help them anytime they need our help. Thank you.